Hello and welcome on ThomasGeigerCar. Today I'm going to tell you a few secrets because I'm here driving the Porsche Cayenne prototype. 20 years after the initial birthday of the first Porsche SUV and half a life cycle of the third generation, this car receives a major update and upgrade. And shortly before the world premiere in spring 2023, I'm joining the Porsche engineers on their final test and validation drives. So if you want to know what to expect from that vehicle that competes against cars like a Mercedes GLE, a BMW X5 and an Aston Martin DBX, join me on my first test drive and I'll tell you more about it. Usually a facelift just means a bit of makeup, new color and trim, and some minor interior changes, mostly on the list of equipment. But since the Cayenne is so important for Porsche, they done much more. They invested a lot of money, know-how and manpower to make this car compatible again. The only problem is, as usually with prototypes, you can't see a lot of it because the car is heavily camouflaged. Does it have new headlights or not? I can't tell because it's covered. Does it have a new back? Yes, I can tell you that the tailgate is brand new because the license plate went down to the bumper and you got a more wider appearance on the back as you know it from the Cayenne Coupe. The biggest changes have been made in the interior. I can't show you a lot, but if you follow me inside, I'll tell you a little bit more. Yeah, before we start driving, I would love to show you the interior because that's something there has been a major change. Problem is, I'm not allowed to. I may peek and sneak underneath the covers and I can tell you what I see, but I can't show it to you. It all looks very digital, and if you take a look at the Taycan cockpit, you have a pretty good idea what you might expect from the upcoming Cayenne. There are 3 screens and you basically have a digital view from A-pillar to A-pillar. For the first time ever in the Cayenne there is a special screen for the passenger, and other than in the Taycan, this screen works while driving and you can even stream videos. There is a special shutter film above the screen so that the driver is not distracted, but the passenger can stream videos while driving, so that's a very cool feature to make long distance drives less boring. We have the ordinary navigation infotainment screen in the middle, and what you might see here on the center tunnel, or better what you don't see on the center tunnel, there is no gear lever anymore. There is a big storage box for charging your phone. It's even cooled and it has more power than ever before, and the gear lever has moved up into the dashboard also like you know it from the Taycan. And if I peek behind the steering wheel again, I see also the curved display that we know from the Taycan. So as I told you, I can't show you, but if you pull up a Taycan interior picture on the internet, you see the interior of the Cayenne as well. Finally, we're allowed to drive the car, and even if it's a prototype, we're not riding it, we're driving it. So I'm sitting on the steering wheel and can give you a first and very exclusive insight in the changes Porsche has made with the Cayenne. 2 major areas that has been worked on, except of design and interior. When it comes to driving, it has a new suspension. This time only 2 chambers for the air suspension instead of 3, but new dampers and new springs, giving you a wider spread between comfort and sporty driving. And we have a revised engine lineup. Some of the engines have been majorly tuned, some of them has been replaced, and all of them are more powerful and more efficient than before. The lineup starts with a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine that is only available in China. The global lineup is a 3-liter V6 engine in the base model that now has 354 horsepower. Then we have, and that's the biggest news, we have lost the 2.9-liter V6 and gained a brand new V8 engine. Yeah, Porsche has developed a new V8 engine for the car. While everybody is shrinking the engines, here we go back to a 4-liter, to a proper V8 that gains about 10% of power and now offers 475 horsepower. The same engine will come with a different setup in the Turbo GT with then proper 660 horsepower. Porsche is a sports car brand. Cayenne is one of the most sportiest SUVs, so decent power output on the GT. Yeah, and we have a totally new plug-in hybrid that has changed a lot on the electrical side. So we're still talking about the 3-liter V6 with 300 horsepower on the one side, but the electric motor has gained 1/3 of power, so it has now 130 kilowatts instead of 100 kilowatts. And the battery has increased dramatically. We had about 18.5 kilowatt hours before. Now we're having almost 25 kilowatt hours. That doubles the range almost, and you can go a bit above 80 kilometers on one charge. And since the bigger battery needs more time for charging, Porsche has also increased charging power. While you could opt for a 7.2 kilowatt charger in the outgoing model, now you can add an 11 kilowatt charger, so you have mainly the same charging time than before. Driving the car, especially here in the backyards of Malibu and Hollywood, in the canyons above the Pacific Ocean, the car feels really sporty. Yes, it is a utility and a versatile vehicle, but pronunciation in a Porsche SUV is definitely on the S for sporty. The car handles pretty well, pretty stiff. Even with the plug-in hybrid, you have lots of power and lots of sound and emotions, and it feels just like a 911 would feel if it would be a bit raised. So you have more ground clearance, the better view, a bit more room in the cabin, but you still have the true Porsche sports car feeling. Thanks for joining me on that first test drive with the prototype of the updated and upgraded Porsche Cayenne. The car will hit the markets in Europe in summer and in the rest of the world towards the end of the year. But what I can tell you already now is it has really made a huge step forward. It looks better than before. It has the more modern interior with more digitalization than ever, and the upgrade for the engines was well worth. Not that the old car is really outdated, but this car has to survive a little longer and has to build the bridge towards electrification. And even if all the world in Europe might be electrically soon, there will be markets where they will still need SUVs with proper petrol engines. And Porsche has done a great job to make this car last as long as necessary.